And this is an expansion to the game Wander the Cult of Barnacle Bay, which if you haven't played that game, this is a cooperative story-based game where players are going to be going through a campaign booklet, but you can also play scenarios as well if you just want to pick and choose. But in this game, players are going to be playing asymmetrical characters with their own special abilities. You're going to be using actions on your turn in order to move around a map, interact with different points of interest, and attack enemies. And players will be able to use any skill points that they have in order to level up their characters further. You'll also be able to upgrade them with different weapons and items. And an interesting thing about this game is that there's all sorts of different enemies that can spawn throughout the game, but as players level up their characters, the enemies are also going to be getting progressively harder as well. And combat in this game is done with dice rolling, and it does feature exploding dice as well, so if you happen to roll a certain icon, that's going to allow you to roll an additional die and add even more power to your attack. Whenever players complete a scenario, there's going to be a decision that you get to make at the end of that scenario, which is going to have an effect on the campaign moving forward. And this is nice because it'll add a little bit of variation if you go back and play the campaign a second or third time without adding a whole lot of complication to the game itself. And the different scenarios will usually have players going up against a final boss. And this new expansion is going to be adding a new boss to the game, as well as new enemies, 2 new heroes, 3 pirate ship tiles, and a whole new campaign for players to play out. But the interesting thing about the enemies in this expansion is that these enemies are ghost enemies. So they're going to be able to see through walls and different terrain and also move through the terrain. So they're going to be able to see you a lot sooner than some other enemies, and they'll also be able to get to you a lot faster if they do see you, since they're just going to be traversing through whatever is in their way. They also have the added effect that if they bump into you, they're going to be spooking your character, lowering their position in the initiative track. So if this one sounds interesting to you, if you're a fan of the original, you'll definitely want to check this one out, and I have links in the description below.